Today sharing a traditional recipe with you for Mula ko Achar. So many childhood memories associated with this one, and I'm sharing this for my kids. I hope they'll make that one day. The closest thing to this is maybe a kimchi, but without the sauce perhaps. So let's get a look at the recipe. So I'm taking about 2 large white radish or daikon radish, and I'm gonna cut them into maybe like 2 inches long and sliced into 1/4 of an inch thick pieces. So basically what you're looking for is like a French fries type of size, but really you're going to squish everything together into a jar, so you don't have to be very particular about the size of the pieces as long as they're kind of similar. And once I have the radish cut off into pieces like these, I'm going to take 1 cauliflower, I'm going to take the florets, and I'm going to cut the cauliflower into small thin slices like this, and then cut them one more time from the other side. You can also use other vegetables like carrots, or I've also seen some people use green pepper. I'm going to put them in a flat tray. And this one I'm going to bake in the oven, so I wanted to put some parchment paper underneath, but you don't have to do that. And you want to let this sit out in the sun for 1 or maybe 2 days, and you want to probably take it inside during the night if you're going to put it for 2 days. This one I baked at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for about a couple of hours because that day the sun wasn't out. So this is how it turned out. These are also same baked cauliflower. Regardless of how you do it, it comes out the same. Here I'm taking a small pan, and in that I'm adding 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds, 1 teaspoon of guano or carom seeds, 1 teaspoon of fenugreek seeds, and some dried red chilies. I'm going to lightly heat them up. I don't want to roast them. As soon as it starts becoming a little bit fragrant, I just want to heat it up a little bit, that's all. So here I'm taking a large bowl, and in that I'm adding the dried radish and cauliflower. To that I'm adding 1 cup of mustard oil, 1 tablespoon of turmeric powder or besar, 1.5 tablespoon of salt or to your taste, 1/2 tablespoon of crushed red chilies. Add more if you like more spicy. And I'm just going to mix everything together. The point is to coat all the veggies with the spices, and we're going to add more spices as we go along. Next, I'm adding some green chilies. I'm taking about 15 or 20. Again, add more if you like. I just slit it open like this just one time, and that's all I did with that. And in a blender, I'm going to blend up the spices I heated up once they've cooled down, and this is what it looks like. I'm adding that in. Next, I'm taking 1/3 of a cup of black mustard seed or Rayo. I'm going to blend that up also, but I just want to pulse this. I don't want it to be a powdery form. I want it to be still coarse like this, because that's what shows up in the achar later on. I'm going to mix everything together. Next, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of Timmur or Schezwan pepper. This is optional. You can leave this out if you don't want. And you can also adjust the spices according to your taste. This is just a basic recipe. Now once everything is mixed in, I'm taking an old jelly jar, a glass jar. You want to use a glass jar because this once it ferments, it gets acidic, so you don't want to use a tin jar or any other kind of jar, or a plastic jar out in the sun probably is not a good idea. So what you want to do is once you put a little bit in, you just want to use your fist and pack it as tightly as possible into the bottom of the jar. And you want to do this every time you add a little bit, maybe like a couple of spoons of vegetables you add in, and you do that again so that it's all tightly packed. Not a pretty sight because I'm using my hand with all the spices and everything, but this is the traditional method. So once everything is put in, you want to leave a little bit of room on the top because this might swell up a little bit as it ferments. And you want to put this out in the sun when it's sunny for about 5 to 7 days. The more you leave it out, the more acidic it gets, the more sour it gets. I left mine out for about 5 days. It was in the summer, and this is what it looks like. I'm opening this up for the first time, and this is how it looks. And it tastes wonderful. Again, so many childhood memories associated with this. So hope you give this recipe a try. Say a little prayer, spread the love, and I'll see you in the next video.